This was the second part of the khutbah. It was the purpose and function of rituals of Salat. Our form of prayer begins with the recognition of Allah's call to us to pray and our intention to pray. First, we must recognize that the Creator, the author of life and of our world, tells us that prayer is good for us and that He has created us to get the good out of ourselves. He does not instruct us to pray because He has an ego, but because He needs someone to worship Him. And we won't pray if we don't recognize the need and benefit of prayer. Allah Azza wa Jal wants us to recognize that prayer is good for us and that He has constructed an equation in our makeup that rewards the practice and development of faith through this prayer and worship. We must also have an intention to pray, because we rarely accomplish what we want to do without an intention. Allah says you get what you strive for. So we cleanse ourselves. Ablution or wudu is performed through water. Allah Azza wa Jal says in Surah 31, ayah 30, in Surah 21, ayah 33, we have made from water every living thing. Water is the medium of the origin of life, and it carries the life-giving nutrients to living things. Thus, our first actual step towards Salat is to return to the original, natural source of our life, to obtain some of that source and spread it all over ourselves. This is the very source, and it is what cleanses and purifies us. What cleanses and purifies the human being? It is the moral stimulation of the human heart, our feelings and sensitivities. When your feelings are immersed in God's consciousness, in innocence, in regardfulness, in respectfulness, in humility, the person becomes upright and clean. This kind of feeling produces a moral conscience. Imam Muhammad said that water is symbolic of our moral nature and our human sensitivities. Why is that? Because when water is peaceful, you can look into it and see yourself. You can see your reflection like a mirror, because we are living our lives looking at everyone else. Every so often we get a chance to look at the mirror at ourselves. And this is what water does for us. We can see our reflection. When we take a look at ourselves, we become conscious of ourselves. The more we see who we truly are, the more we appreciate what Allah has made us and how He has made us, or we are disturbed by what we see. Whenever the water is disturbed, the reflection is distorted. It produces a broken and fragmented and unappealing image. The water seeks to settle down and return to a peaceful state and bring back that natural, wholesome reflection. The water is able to return to peace by absorbing, removing, or outlasting the disturbance that causes it problems. And this is how we should be. This is a struggle to overcome trouble and return to a peaceful state. Struggle, that's what jihad is. The greater jihad is our inner struggle with ourselves. We struggle to do what is right so that we can feel at peace in our mind and our souls. Imam Muhammad says that number 3 represents 3 aspects or dimensions or levels of development of the human being. Those 3 aspects of our makeup is the physical, the mental, and the spiritual. The interplay of these 3 forces affect and develop the quality of the human soul. The evolution of our eternal soul, our essence, depends on the physical, mental, and spiritual work we do and that we experience. Our hand is symbolic of our actions and our deeds. It also represents what we build and how we use tools. As we wash our hands during wudu, during ablution, we can think in our minds that it means to keep our actions and our deeds clean, moral, and upright. We can understand in our conscience that it means to use tools to build only what is life-giving, and morally clean. We wash our hands 3 times. With the first rinse, we can say, I will make my physical deeds clean. With the second rinse, I will make my deeds of my intellect clean. With the third rinse, you can say, I will make the deeds of my heart clean. We could also look at it this way. When we wash each time, we can say, I will bring cleanliness to what I do physically. I will bring cleanliness to what I do mentally. And I will bring cleanliness to what I do spiritually. And we wash our right hand first and then our left hand. Washing the right hand means cleaning your conscious actions, while washing your left hand means to clean your unconscious actions. It is the conscious mind that trains and conditions the unconscious mind. This is why we practice something repeatedly, so that it becomes second nature to us. Pretty soon we do things unconsciously or without such conscious effort. When we clean our conscious actions, our subconscious behavior begins to conform to what is clean and life-giving. And to wash your right hand and your left hand also has other meanings. The right hand symbolizes our strength, while the left hand symbolizes our weakness. And I wanted to mention in the khutbah I'm mentioning now that this is symbolic in a general meaning, not to mean that people who are left-handed are weak. Because my mother is left-handed, and I definitely don't want her to see this, thinking that I am calling her weak. But these are representations for the general rule. The general rule is most people are right-handed. The right hand represents strength, the left hand represents a symbolic of weakness. The right hand represents halal, the left hand represents what is haram. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, some of us will be given our deeds, our book of deeds in our right hand. And some of us will receive our book of deeds in our left hand. The right hand symbolizes those who will have more righteous deeds than wicked deeds. And left hand is vice versa. The basic meaning is that we must bring cleanliness to what is strong and good to ensure that they remain strong and good. And we must bring cleanliness to what is weak and corrupt to remove the filth that causes the weakness and the corruption. Next, we wash out our mouths 3 times. We should consciously think that we are going to clean up our physical speech, avoid offensive language, improve our etiquette and eloquence of speech. This is why we should learn Arabic. Arabic literally means eloquence of speech. We should speak only those things that are intellectually clean. Speak only those things that are clean and purify us, ourselves, and to whomever we speak. With our mouths, we can injure others mentally, morally, and spiritually. When a man restrains himself from doing harmful things, his words begin to reflect that restraint and thoughtfulness. The mouth also represents what we consume. We should only eat physical, mental, and spiritual food that cleanses and nourishes us to our original state. We should clean these foods before we eat them. The mouth also has teeth with which we digest what we consume. If we put something foul into our metaphorical mouths and spit it out, then wash the stain of the filth out of your mouth. Furthermore, when we rinse the mouth, we also rinse our teeth. Thus, the tools with which we digest physical, mental, and spiritual food can be cleaned. If we have a dirty mind or a dirty spirit, we will pollute the wholesome food that we ingest. Brothers and sisters, when we are making ablution or wudu before prayer, we are washing physically. And we know that Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam taught us that the state of your heart makes your whole body healthy or sick. The heart affects your character. To wash your face 3 times is to keep your character clean, for people can see our character. Our face is our image, and our image is our reputation, and it is the most common method of identification. We must bring morality to our character and to the way we present ourselves so that we can protect our image and our reputation. When we rinse the nose next 3 times, the nose represents our desires, our aspirations, and our intuition. Your nose can smell something even though it cannot see it. Your nose can tell you something of what is out there even if you cannot see it, which suggests your intuition, the ability to sense something without seeing it. The sense of smell also informs us of odors that attracts us or repels us. The smell of good food, the smell of a nice smelling flower or cologne or oils makes us desire those things. The smell of foul garbage, foul food, unclean body, or unkept breath makes us desire to get away from those things. So to cleanse the nose means to bring cleanliness to your physical, mental, and spiritual desires, hopes, and aspirations, and to apply cleanliness in the use of your intuitive abilities. Then we wash our arms 3 times. The arm represents power, strength, and support. In any nation, an army represents the might of that nation. We must consciously train ourselves to use our power and support for those things that are physically, mentally, and spiritually clean, so that we can consciously and subconsciously or automatically apply our abilities in a righteous manner. Next, we wash our hair. Your hair represents the knowledge. It is knowledge that grows out of your head and sits on top of your head as a crown. Your knowledge makes you noble. It makes you royal. No matter what your status is in this world, no matter what your income is in this world, your knowledge makes you royal. We must bring cleanliness and morality into the uses of our physical, mental, and spiritual knowledge. Next, we wash our ears 3 times. When cleaning the ears, we should be conscious that we are protecting ourselves against suggestions and influences and whispers. We know Shaitan is the whisperer. Whispers of corruption, corrupting our minds and our thinking and our hearts. The ears represent the sense of hearing. It is symbolic of the tool with which we listen. You do know that your entire body is a symbol. You do not actually hear with your ears. They are tools for hearing. But your ears hear nothing. Your eyes see nothing. Your hand touches nothing. Your tongue tastes nothing. They are merely tools transforming and transferring electric signals to the real you. They are tools used by your body to experience this world. And your soul is using your body, because your body too is a tool. This is why we must cleanse ourselves physically, mentally, and spiritually. We must cleanse the things that we listen with and the things we listen to, and wash the dirt out of our ears that may be there, rinsing the ears with clean water, not dirt or filth. And finally, we come to our feet. We wash them 3 times. Imam Muhammad says the feet represent the spiritual intelligence of people. We stand upon our feet. We move upon our feet. The feet are the foundation of the human being. A foot is the length of a ruler, 12 inches. A ruler is a tool of measurement, and it is used to draw straight lines, the Sirata Mustaqim, the straight path. A ruler is also a king or an authority. He must rule carefully in order to make good judgments and guide his people straight. This foot, which is the ruler or the authority and the foundation of a man and a society, is the spiritual intelligence. Why do I say this? Because at the base of the foot is the soul, and the base of spiritual intelligence is the soul. Allah says in the Quran that He has made man in haste. Human beings are quick to do things before they are even able to. And we are talking about the soul, we are talking about the creation of Adam alayhi salam. It is said that he is made from black clay. So while he was in the form of this black clay, the spirit came into him. The soul, the root of Allah came into him from his head first. And as it was coming down through his body, he gained consciousness. And as it was coming down, he was in haste, wanting to get up and move around. But he was unable to because the spirit, the soul, hadn't reached down to his feet yet. This is why Allah says human beings are created in haste. This is also why when people die, your soul leaves from your feet first. And it's coming from the top of your head. Oftentimes you see people, when they have returned to Allah, there's a facial expression on their faces. Because that's when the soul is coming out. But anyway, the soul is what we are referring to. The soul is a good judge of matters and can ascertain the importance of things. It sends us messages to help measure and guide our steps. Let us keep our physical, mental, and spiritual foundations clean. Keep our soul clean in salat and between salat, so that we will guide ourselves back to our original self, back to our original state, back to our original nature, our original fitra. Assalamu alaikum.